This might trigger you to some extent.
From the conservative mind, they would possibly see like the leftist treatment of trans people as hatred, because
I don't think it necessarily arises from hatred. I mean, it could or it couldn't, but it's just you can't simultaneously say like, oh no, like I have compassion for all people and I support trans people, blah, 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 but I just don't think we should do this, and this, and like deny them like every single avenue of treatment. That's like a contradictory position. If you just say like, oh, well, I think that trans people, I think it's kind of bullshit and we need to help them not be trans anymore, then that would be a more honest conversation, I guess.
What does that mean? I don't get it.
I don't either.
Can you put it back?
No.
Why?
I don't understand it, so.
Can I look and analyze it? It has my face on it.
I don't know what it means.
I think you just dropped your like change my mind video. Conservatives hate trans people. That was the topic, right? Mm-hmm. Those were the actual words, right?
I think that was the cue card, yes.
Okay. So the clip I saw, the student was saying, I don't think so because they believe in God and religion and they want to help the person. So that can't be operating from a place of hatred if they believe in like helping the person, even though they're misguided.
Okay.
They're like, it's not out of hatred, but you said, yeah, but they want to help them in the sense that they want to make them not trans, which implies like a hatred of trans people.
Sure.
That was your response.
Okay.
I'm even sure I'm asking you, is that like your...
It probably sounds like my response, yeah.
I can show you the video if you want.
I believe you.
Okay. So I was just going to ask, like, I don't know if that's hatred, because like, if conservatives actually view it as like a mental illness, or they see it as just purely like a gender dysphoria, and then let's say I see like an anorexic person, I'm like, okay, they have like body dysmorphia, and I'm like, okay, I want you to go to rehab, like, because I hate anorexia, that doesn't really mean that I hate anorexics, right? So like, what do you see as like the main distinction from the conservative viewpoint between those two things? At
some point, you have to have some like foundational moral level where you say like, this is what we're going to consider right or wrong, and then you have to operate from that foundation. I guess it's more of an epistemic question of like, do we think that trans people are real? Are trans people real? Do they have real brains? If we say yes, then like a denial of their existence at all, we would probably view it as somewhat hateful. Same thing with like gay people would be easier. Do we think gay people exist, that some men can have an attraction to other men, or women can have an attraction to women? There's not much you can do to change that. If you acknowledge that that's yes, then any attempt to change that or try to force somebody to change it is like kind of a hateful thing. Now, if we go and we always evaluate it from another person's perspective, this might trigger you to some extent because it's similar to my moral arguments. But if we're always looking at it from the actor's perspective, then to some extent we can almost say that nobody hates anybody ever. They're just doing the things that they think are best for the world. Like you could make an argument that like Hitler and the Nazis like didn't really hate people. They just thought that like Jews were evil and needed to be cleansed from the earth or something. Or that Christians that are trying to convert gay people or that are stoning to death sinners are doing it because they think that that's like their mission from God and it comes from a place of love. Or you can hear a lot of conservatives say this. If you like hit your wife, or if you're, spousal rape or whatever, it's because like this is the wife's obligation. This is how we're supposed to love each other. Like this is what we do. So I think you have to be careful evaluating every single thing from an actor's perspective, because then at some point you can say, well, nobody's hateful ever because everybody feels like they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I guess from the conservative mind, they would possibly see like the leftist treatment of trans people as hatred, because in theory, like even leftists will say that like a trans person has dysphoria, as in there's like a gap between like their assigned sex and then how they feel, right? So they're both recognizing that, and then the leftists will say, okay, we should affirm with treatment like their gender, versus the person on the right will say we should affirm their sex. So you could see it as like the same amount of distance, but why do you think...
It comes down to a disagreement on the fact of the matter, basically. Like, that's why I said it comes down to whether you think trans people are real or not, because they probably don't think trans people are real.
Conservatives will always cite the fact that they think, like, okay, once you start transitioning your gender, your depression's going to go up, your suicide's going to go up, and you can say, like, oh, well, those stats are skewed, whatever, but if they genuinely believe those stats, that's why I think it's hard sometimes to tell a conservative, depending on the conservative, obviously there's some who actually hate them, but in general, that they hate trans people. If they genuinely believe, I think you'll be happier, for instance, if we give you hormones that affirm your assigned gender.
Yeah, but that's why the issue I have is that like conservatives seem to want to live in both worlds. If a conservative came out and they were like, I don't believe in trans people at all, then it's like, okay, fine, then we'll work from there. But a lot of them will be like, I do believe in trans people, but we shouldn't have medication for anything at all for children, and we should severely restrict it for adults and everything, and we should give them conversion therapy if we can. And it's like, okay, well, it seems like you say that you believe in them, but you're doing everything you can to fuck their lives over. That just seems like really shitty. If you want to say you don't believe in it at all, then that's a different type of conversation, I think. But they kind of
believe in what? I'm saying they both believe that
I
trans
know
people
you're
have
saying
dysphoria.
that, but I'm saying some conservatives believe that there's no such thing as a trans brain. They think it's just people that are mentally ill that need enough conversion therapy to convince them that they are their gender assigned at birth. That's what some conservatives think, but they don't say that. They'll say like, well, yeah, I believe trans people are real and all that. We should just like restrict the medications and not let any kids like have any access to any of it at all. And it's like, okay, well, if you think that trans people are like, if that's a real phenomenon, why would you be so restrictive on this? It seems really weird.
Because they want to help them or like in their view, they think they're helping them by shifting them towards like assimilating them towards their sex rather than the
but
gender
their
they
view of
feel.
helping them,
and they think that'll close the gap.
But their view of
gender and
helping them is that
sex.
they don't believe it's a real phenomenon. Essentially, they think that like gender dysphoria is real, but nobody's actually trans. They just need like therapy or medication to move. Like they don't think like some might not think gay is real. It's just like a mental illness that needs to be cured.
Okay, maybe I'm just confused. I feel
Okay,
like,
wait. Let's just use the gay example. That's the simplest one. Okay. So if somebody's like, I have compassion for gay people, and my compassion is that we need to like get them enough therapy so that they're straight again. If you believe that gayness is a real fact of the matter, that people can be gay, then you say, like, okay, well that's not very compassionate because they can't do that. But your disagreement here isn't over whether you love the person; it's a disagreement on the fact of the matter, basically.
But the difference is I don't think that conservative and liberal necessarily disagree on the fact of the matter. They both think that the person has a gap between their gender and their sex. They just have different prescriptions. And the conservative, again, is pushing towards them to identify with their sex, versus the liberal will say, no, let's focus on helping them identify with their gender.
Sure, but the distinction is on the liberal side, they think that there's the wiring biologically is a lot more hardcore than the conservative does, who thinks it's a lot more conversationally malleable. Like a liberal is going to say that you can't talk a trans person out of being trans. There's no way to do that. There's no drug to do that. There's no possible way to do that. And the conservative's like, well, I don't really, they're not like, they're just like a little in the head. Like we can medicate them out of it. We can get them away from it. I think that's the difference, is what it actually is.
And you think that arises from hatred? Or that like leads to hatred then?
I don't think it necessarily arises from hatred. I mean, it could or it couldn't. But it's just you can't simultaneously say like, oh no, like I have compassion for all people and I support trans people, blah, 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 but I just don't think we should do this, this, and this, and like deny them like every single avenue of treatment. That's like a contradictory position. If you just say like, oh, well, I think that trans people, I think it's kind of bullshit and we need to help them not be trans anymore, then that would be a more honest conversation, I guess.
But like my point was, let's say the conservative sees the trans person as analogous to the anorexic person. They're not like invalidating the fact that they think there's something going on. Like I don't think they're telling the anorexic person like you're making it up in your head.
Well, that is the difference though in terms of fact of the matter.
They might see the leftist person as telling the anorexic person like, no, you're fine, keep doing what you're doing. So I'm saying conservatives might see leftists as the ones who hate trans people.
The disagreement is, again, it's over the fact of the matter. So when somebody is anorexic or bulimic, the issue with this person is this person has a delusion about the way that they appear, right? So anorexic people, when they're talking to other people, they might sound more reasonable, but like an anorexic person can be 5'6" and weigh 80 pounds and look in the mirror and still see parts of them that they think are fat. There's an actual delusion in the mind that is not changing based on external information that they perceive that they're hardcore pursuing. For the trans person, the argument right now, or was, I don't know where the fuck progressives are, but the argument for progressives is that there's not a delusion. There is a real fact of the matter that their brain is, for whatever reason, it's sexed incorrectly, that it is a female brain that is stuck in a male body, and the only way to fix that is to bring the body in alignment with what the brain thinks. But a conservative, generally, I think, doesn't believe in that underlying fact of the matter, that the brain is sexier, and they say that's not possible. They're just really confused and they need therapy or something else to break them out of it.
I could be wrong, but I don't think all eating disorder is predicated on like body dysmorphia. Like I think you could see in the mirror accurately and still think I want to be skinnier, like an unhealthy amount. Like you could be bulimic or something and still just want to be skinnier because you think you'll be happier if you're underweight, and someone could look at you and say, okay, this is unhealthy. So
I guess that's possible. My understanding is eating disorders tend to be based on delusions about how fat a person is.
Can we look it up? I could be wrong.
Okay, I don't know how I would even find this information. Let's see.
You could just look up definition of an eating disorder. So yeah, I think anorexia has to do with distorted perception of weight, but like, so yeah, I guess anorexia was a bad example on my part. Okay, so I don't think this one has to do with body dysmorphia. So my point was they just want to get skinnier and skinnier, and they're doing unhealthy things to get there, right? So people will look at them and say, I don't think this is what you should be doing, even though this is what your brain wants you to be doing. So I'm saying, like, can't conservatives make kind of the same argument and justify that to themselves about trans people? I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying, like, from their point of view, maybe that's how they see it.
Okay, that's how they see what? Repeat that again.
Because you were saying the difference between the example of anorexia and the example of the trans person is that it's a fact of the matter thing. So, for instance, the anorexic person sees something in the mirror that's not accurate to reality. But with the bulimic, that's not the case. Like, they could still see in the mirror what's actually there, but they still want to get skinnier and skinnier because personally that's what they value, even if it is possibly detrimental to their health. And likewise, the conservative can say the trans person is doing something that's going to be detrimental to their health because it's going to increase depression, increase their chance of suicide, and all these things. So I don't want to affirm their mental state. So I'm saying I don't... Like, the fact of the matter thing only applies between the difference between anorexia and
I guess I'm having a difficulty here because if we're going to say that bulimia has nothing to do with delusions, then we're just saying that bulimia is attempting to achieve a goal weight. Then we're trying to compare whether or not trans brains have a fact of the matter compared to whether or not bulimic people have a certain goal. I don't know if you can compare those two things.
Wait, can you restate that?
You're trying to say that you're trying to compare if we're saying bulimia has nothing to do with the delusion about self-perception of body.
I guess my point is it possible that the conservatives see it the same way?
Well, because it sounds like you're just treating bulimia as like a dieting strategy. And you're saying that for some people that dieting strategy is unhealthy. Now let's compare that to trans people. I don't know how I would compare those two things. That's hard in my mind to compare.
I'm saying like from their point of view, they might see it as similar is my point. Like they could say like, yeah, we could affirm... Because you were saying the only difference between the leftist diagnosis of trans people and the conservative diagnosis is that the left thinks that like, okay, this is something real, the same way the being homosexual is something real, versus the conservative isn't acknowledging that. They're thinking like, oh, we can just like talk you out of it.
Yes.
So that applied in like the difference between like transgenderism and anorexia. But I'm saying like, is it possible that the conservative could see it as more analogous to this?
I don't know what this is, because if you're telling me, I feel like bulimia is still rooted in delusion. But if I'm gonna,
still a mental illness, and it's the idea that like.
Well, hold on, wait. If we're going how you describe it, then bulimia is just a dieting strategy that's unhealthy.
I'm pretty sure it's a mental illness.
Well, it's an eating disorder. I don't know if eating disorder is considered mental illness. But if you're telling me that bulimia is not rooted in any sort of delusion, then you're...
so it's still body dysmorphia. Sorry, I had the wrong definition of body dysmorphia. Body dysmorphia doesn't necessarily mean, I think, distorted body perception, I think, right? Like, I think body dysmorphia just means, like, you're uncomfortable in your body. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're seeing something inaccurate to the mirror. I could be wrong. Yeah, okay, so this doesn't mean that you have distorted self-perception. That's my whole point. So the leftist, but you wouldn't want someone to say, okay, you just get skinnier and skinnier because that'll make you feel more comfortable in your own body. Okay. Is my whole point.
I feel like it is related to delusion. But
why?
So for instance, like when it says these flaws are often unnoticeable to others, it means that you have like a delusional sense of self. You have an accurate perception of self.
Is it inaccurate? It just means like you're staring at yourself for longer.
It's you're perceiving a flaw that nobody else perceives. Seems to me to be a delusion. Like, it's very hard to believe that a person has an accurate sense of where they are, what they look like, how they compare to others in society, and they
it's
still
want to... It's just about what you care about. Like, for instance, like, my gut's out right now, I don't care. But it's still there whether you notice it or not. But like this person might think about that a lot. They'll be like sucking in, or they'll like see it in the mirror.
Okay,
and, like,
I understand what you're saying. I can't engage on this level with this topic though. If we're saying that like, because what you're essentially saying is like, oh no, bulimic person knows everything. Yeah. They just really want to weigh 75 pounds, but they know that like they're not delusional. They just really want to see like every single rib or whatever. And that might be true. There might be something, but I don't know. I don't know how to engage with that. I've never heard of that before. That's possible, but I would instantly assume that if somebody was at that level, my assumption 100% of the time is they have a delusion. They have an unhealthy perception of their self. It's not rooted in any sort of real analysis. They're unable to perceive themselves the way that other people perceive them, that they would probably think that if they walk into a room, other people are going to say they're fat. But you're talking about this person that has severe like purging habits or eating disorders that actually is a totally 100% valid sense of self, and they understand how fat they are. They just really want to lose that last 5 pounds so they can like weigh 70 pounds. Mm-hmm. That's possible, I guess, but I'm not that. So, but like using this as an example and compared to the trans stuff is really, really hard, because this like treatment of like bulimia or anorexia for me is very hard to wrap my head around. But
I guess my only point was that I think it's possible that conservatives can think like leftists are the ones who are not hate trans people, but I just hear them say a lot that they use trans people in like as like a political weapon, and they don't actually care about them. And I've heard conservatives say that like they actually care. I'm not saying that's true.
Sure, but
I'm just saying it's possible that they're not operating out of hatred is my point, and they think they have good intentions.
Nobody thinks they're operating out of hatred though, right? People can engage in spousal rape and not think they're operating out of hatred, right? That's why you have to be careful when you evaluate it from there. Like slave owners, to some extent, might not think they were operating out of hatred, right? Mm-hmm. But it's hard to evaluate it when you're looking at it from one person's point of view, because a person can always have like a moral justification for treating somebody else horribly, I think, right?
Yeah.
But Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it has to do with how, like I said, I think if conservatives were to come out and say, like, I think that trans people is only talk therapy, it's a better position to argue against than somebody that says that I think that trans people are real and I understand all that. I just don't want kids or anybody to have any access to any medication. That's just like a weird psychotic position to me. That's the untenable one. If you want to be conservative and say, I think they all just need to talk therapy or something, then that's fine. But yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Those were probably my main fights.
Can I get a drink of water?
Like, you want me to go grab you one?
No, I can go get one. I was just asking if I can.
No.
Okay.
I can grab you one, though.
Okay, can you get me one?
No, but can you also grab me a deodorant while you're up?
Okay. Why don't... It's right in the bathroom.
We're both gonna get up?
Well, you're saying we can both get up. I can go get both things.
That'd be great.
Well, why do you want me to get both things, but I couldn't just get the water earlier?
I just didn't understand why you asked me for permission.
Well, I didn't want you to think I was like storming off like in anger or something, or like I was so upset.
I'm gonna think that regardless, because I'm assuming we're in like the worst point of our friendship right now. I feel so tense.
It's not. That's on you.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I feel so tense.
Okay. Well, stop. You're projecting it onto me. Okay.
They said not to look at them.
Don't look at them. You're setting a problem. What are they saying?
They said, Farha, you need to kill yourself now. I can write down the username if you want to ban them for life.
It's a meme, okay? Don't worry, it's funny. Trust me.
Okay. How do I pull them on me or Amy?
What are they taking so long to answer?
Because I was reading their abuse. There's a hair on this.
Okay, yeah, it's deodorant.
Is there any clips you saw of me that you wanted to argue with me about?
Nope. She literally ignores any message that isn't negative. Is that true?
It's because, okay, what does it mean if a message is highlighted? Like, why are some highlighted?
Because they say my name.
Oh, okay. I feel like I probably just see the highlighted ones.
Yeah? There you go. Move the boxes. Oh, Farah's taking all of those with her when she leaves today.
What? The boxes?
All of these.
Are we setting these up today?
No, because I'm waiting for those stands.
You need that for all of this?
I need it for the cameras, yeah.
My brother's confused because I was going to go back, but then I came back.
Did you tell him you were coming and you were like, I've changed my mind?
Because he asked me a question and I was like, oh, I'll be right there. But then I realized, like, the only thing more pathetic than everything he's witnessed about my lifestyle this week is if I rage quitted this stream and went back. And I was like, yeah, I chickened out.
Yeah?
Yeah. His respect for me is already on the floor.
Why is that?
Just out of
Why does he have such
everything.
low respect for you? Out of everything? Like, what else?
I don't know. He's my older brother. He's just gonna...
Have lack of respect for you? Is that like a Muslim thing, or?
I guess so.
Okay.
I'm just saying, obviously, he'd see this as very chill and easy, and it is. So if I left, that would come off as, like...
You could just say that when you
super
showed up, I had
childish.
like a knife in my hand the whole time, and I was
Yeah.
very standoffish, you know?
Yeah. He was, like, asking why you were so standoffish and cold, and I said, I don't know. He's a little bit racist.
Yeah? You told him that?
Yeah.
Just a little bit?
He said you were also hogging the barbells
Yeah?
at the gym.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you looking at?
You.
So we're going to go to LA June 17th?
I don't know where you got that from. You can go on the 17th if you want. I'm going to be there from I think the 21st to the 28th. Or like the 20th to the 29th.
Can I come to the Pepperdine thing?
If you want to.
Do I have to get tickets?
No, it's just like a student thing. So you'd probably blend in with the other 15-year-olds, but
Oh, is it a high school?
it's like a college thing, but it's like a seminar for high schoolers. So they're all being invited to come listen to inspiring people like me, you know, guide them to a better tomorrow.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
She's so fucking addicted to destiny. This is going to end terribly. Because I don't have anything better to do besides go to LA for the 4th time this month.
Yeah, this month. Isn't it next month?
I guess it's this month now, but yeah,
Well, but you haven't been there this month yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting till 6 p.m.?
No, right now we're having a fun and boisterous back and forth. That's very jolly and jovial and jubilant and Jewish. How do you think this panel's going to go today?
What's the theme, or is it just the same theme every time?
It's probably going to be the same exact theme every single time. Does body count for men matter more than women? Or women matter? Does it matter more to men than to women? What does it mean to have sexual marketplace value? Why do men need to become and women just are? And, the same red pill talking points I've been doing for about a year.
Oh, it's a red pill show?
I mean, it's fresh and fit. So, yeah, I would assume so. It's probably not going to be about real estate investment.
No, I mean, I thought the episodes were red pill just based off the guest. I'm saying, this guy's show.
He does, his plan is to help you get laid, get paid, and do it your way. That's what he says.
Oh.
So he does, advice. I would call him, red pill adjacent. They're not, he's not, super red pill. He actually seems like a chill guy. I don't think he hates women like red pillers do.
Yeah. I have to pee.
Okay. Be careful. Did you ever do the Jubilee video shoot? Hopefully I'm doing it on the 28th. They said they're going to contact me soonish, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how I could not make that particular episode, but we'll see. Vosh back to Control plus V.
It's just porn addiction and nuts.
Wait.
We're a full-stack e-commerce agency with the goal of helping brands build, grow, and scale their e-commerce businesses.
It's just it's just porn addiction and Nazi shit. Really, it's genuinely sad. I there's no way to say this without it sounding patronizing, and I guess it kind of is. But I do hope he I don't know, grows out of that at some point, because I would not want to live like that. Yeah, I always taken this stuff as cautionary. Yeah. You can look at that and go wow, what paths in life might I have taken that could have led me to being that sad? And what, clearly I'm not now, but what can I learn from it? And it's always good to learn from stuff like that.
I don't even know who this guy's talking about.
I have issues with excess porn consumption, but not Nazism. Okay, to be clear, look, I've talked about this a lot before, but I want to make my views clear, all right? Porn addiction is a social or psychological addiction, in the sense that it's not like a chemical addiction, the way that you can get chemically addicted.
Farha, that's a really cute looking cardigan.
Thank you. What does that mean? I don't get it.
I don't either.
Can you put it back?
No.
Why?
I don't understand it, so.
Can I look and analyze it? It has my face on it.
I don't know what it meant, though.
Why are you laughing so much?
It just seemed very random to me. Have you seen that movie before?
No.
I don't know what it means. Maybe because you guys look similar, kind of, your hairstyle?
But what are the people? Who are these people?
I have no idea.
Maybe they'll explain it. They're calling you a liar.
What could I possibly be lying about? What do you think about this meme? Look, it's a big kitty. Wow.
I'm gonna check in on my brother, and then I can be back at 6.
What does he need help with?
I don't know. I feel bad. I'm hosting him. Do you want to come?
I'm in the middle of a stream. Why not tell him to come over here?
To do what?
What are you going to do over there?
To watch Saucecast?
I don't know. What are you going to go do with him?
I was just going to check in, see if he needs anything.
Isn't that what you text him for? He's like, hey, do you need something? If you want to walk over there, you can. I don't understand. That's like code. You're trying to escape. You're free to leave.
I was going to feed him.
In 14 minutes? Okay. Isn't he 40 years old?
He's 26.
He's got a cum laude law degree. And you think that he needs you to take care of him?
Did he say that?
What are you going to cook him for food? Tell us.
I went to Trader Joe's.
Yeah?
I got waffles.
Nice job. Are you gonna make them a waffle?
I was gonna point them out.
Like a microwave waffle or like a actual waffle batter? Do you have a waffle maker?
I said, do you need anything? He said, are you planning to stay there for longer? I can leave now if... Or I guess how much longer are you planning to stay? He's antsy.
He's not antsy. You're so autistic when it comes to texting. This is texting, right? This is just texting? I can't believe you iPhone people deal with this shit. It's so cringe.
What do you mean?
Like seeing when people are typing and stuff. Why the fuck would you ever want that?
It's the same thing on Telegram and Instagram.
Yeah, I know. But if I'm on a text, I have like privacy to work on a message as much as I want. They don't know if I've seen it or not. I have so much time to work rather than sitting here staring obsessively over his... Well, let's see what he's saying. Hold on.
Maybe I want to go cry a little bit and then come back.
Okay, then you're right to do that.
Maybe I need him to give me a pep talk.
Okay, go for it. Go get your pep talk, and then you can come back here after.
You could try giving me one first.
Go, Farha. What did he say?
You can stream for as long as you want. I just sort of been chilling because I assumed you'd be back any second, but can entertain myself. It's going to be a longer thing.
Yeah, okay. So what is he saying?
Everyone's so mad at me.
No, you're so autistic. He just wants a clearance of what you're doing so that he knows what he's going to do.
I
Because if
know.
you're saying you're going to be back right away, you're triggering the fuck out of me. It's okay. I'm sorry. You're not autistic. I'm just kidding. That was a joke, by the way. I'm gonna kill myself.
I'll probably be here for a while. I don't know why. He's being really mean.
Uh-huh. You know when you say that, he's not gonna read that as a joke, right?
He shouldn't.
Okay.
He's been really mean to me. Like, kind of when he pulled out the knife, but worse.
Uh-huh. Someone said, this is Farha's sense of humor. Show her this.
Hold it.
It's Mr. Krabs.
No way.
Come right here.
He looks so cute. Oh my god.
Was that your sense of humor?
No.
Yo.
Well, my name is Skylar White, yo. My husband is Walter White, yo.
He just said, okay, sounds good.
Told
Yeah.
me everything.
I said you're being mean to me.
Look.
Yeah, he probably just doesn't care. Okay. What is your sense of humor? Give us a funny
He said
clip.
I'll head to the beach then.
Good, bass. Give us a sense of your humor. Give us a funny clip. What do you want us to watch? Okay, I'm just gonna keep clicking these.
I send you so many memes every day.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Let me be just what I need to bust. Let me just be what I need to bust. Cause I'm busting. I'm busting.
I don't know what that was. Okay, give us a meme, okay?
I'm going to come back by 6.
Okay. You can do what you want. Do you need to take anything or bring anything?
I'm also going
or-
to fill up another coffee.
Okay, you don't need my permission to do that. Go for it. Be careful. She couldn't handle the bussin' clip. True.